Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're going to talk about why do women find men who display traits of the Dark Triad of psychology attractive, aka, other words, why do women find a-holes attractive? But I feel like that video has been overdone about 1 billion times, so I'm going to give you my take on it, on why specifically when it comes to the Dark Triad, why men who display these traits are considered to be more attractive. And it also relates slightly to the pearls that I'm wearing, which I find ironic enough because I didn't even plan that. So let's go ahead and dig into that. Real quick, before we get started, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's been donating and everybody who has been signing up to the Patreon. As you know, I'm still driving Uber on the side, and as soon as I can get this channel to have enough support behind it, then I'll be able to do this full time and not have to drive Uber. So thank you guys so much. If you feel like getting more exclusive content from the Patreon and getting a free wristband that I'll be sending out to you, just sign up to the Patreon. So let's go ahead and move into it. And you know, I kind of hate using myself as an example in some of these videos, but I think there's a couple examples that I could use that would also make sense and other stuff. So if I talk about that, yeah, you get the point. First of all, let's go about the three traits that go into the Dark Triad of psychology is narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. Now hear me out, this is like my online thought journal. I'm not totally versed in all three of these whatsoever. I'm not a doctor. These are just, you know, my thoughts and opinions on the matter. When it comes to narcissism, what we're looking at, and specifically why I believe the women find this stuff attractive, is because narcissism, although this is a dark form of expression, the idea, what seems to be expressed, is a grandiose sense of self. In the dark version of this, it can come across, it can be, its foundation and its roots can be rooted in an insecurity, and because it would be rooted in an insecurity, it comes off the wrong way. It doesn't ring true, and that's something that you can feel internally when this grandiose sense of self is coming across as in an ingenuine way. You know, I think a lot of people who, for example, that can be negatively boastful of themselves and seem to like try to brag about things that was completely unrelated to anything that is a topic of conversation. These type of behaviors and trying to present oneself as a overall more grandiose version of yourself than you truly are, what that can easily get confused for is confidence. Confidence would be true, genuine self-love from a positive place, expressing itself through confidence is actually the trait that would be considered attractive in this situation. So when you're looking at narcissism and someone gives off the impression of a grandiose sense of self, what you're really looking for is a person who is confident. And that is why women can find this attractive, because now that we're getting into the pearls, the way that I think about it is there's a masculine energy and there's a feminine energy, and the masculine energy is like a clam. The clam is the hard shell, it's rugged, it's not, you know, the prettiest thing on earth, but it's gonna do good at protecting what's inside. And what's inside is a beautiful pearl. The beautiful pearl, in my opinion, is the feminine energy. The feminine energy that is, because it is provided its safe place, it can express itself to be who that beautiful pearl fully is, and it can express its radiance and its beauty in that way. And having that grandiose sense of self expressed in a dark way is not good, but having a positive self-loving confidence about a man is something that women find generally very attractive for this reason, because if a man can believe he's a good clam to the pearl, then he can protect the pearl, and the pearl can be the beautiful pearl that it truly is on the inside. Then we move on forward into Machiavellianism, and the way that I understand this it's a manipulative cunningness in the direction of power. At least that's how I understand it. And when I'm looking at this trait and what it represents in a masculine, what I'm looking at is some buddy or something that is moving in the direction of gaining more power in their life. And here's the thing about power that people don't understand. It's that everybody wants power. Even the people that claim that they don't want their power, that's their form of their power trip. Their form of power trip is saying, oh no, I don't want anything to do with it. But that is their way of gaining status above the people who seek power. And it's a covert way of doing it. But the purpose of power is to create change. People think power, because there's these quotes of like absolute power corrupts absolutely. See, people like this are interpreting power in the wrong way. Power is the ability to create change in your life and also potentially create change in other people's lives. That is what power truly is. And it is how people use that power that can define whether a person is, good or bad, in the sense, if you even want to take it to that level. There is nothing innately wrong about power. There's also nothing, I guess, innately good about power. Power is simply power to create change, and everybody wants power. It's part of our psychology. It's part of who we are as people, and it is in our desires to be more powerful as creators of our own lives, so that we can create the change that we want to in order to live the life that we want to. In fact, it's my opinion that's what we're kind of here for on a spiritual level, is to create the life that we want to live, and we need power in order to do that. So the positive side of this Machiavellianism, the Machiavellianism is a manipulative, dark way of going about and creating change in your life and going after power. But the light version of this, on the other hand, is the positive desire and ambition that is the driving force behind a man. Another way of explaining this is how the masculine is the ship. It's the ship that is going to take you from point A to point B, and the feminine energy is it's the ocean, it's the motion in there, it's the energy of life that moves around. And the masculine's objective is to break through barriers and make decisions and go forward in life and create change in a direct, specific path. And that is how the masculine energy is expressed. So the positive version of this Machiavellianism trait is somebody who is, ambitious and going after and listening to their heart and doing what they need to do in order to live the life that they want to live. And if they're really, doing this in a positive, loving way, then they're going to do this in a way that benefits not only themselves and other people in the process of doing this. And they're not going to do this really in a covert way. They're going to be over and go after their needs directly. That is the positive expression of this trait that women would find attractive. The next thing, finally, we get to is psychopathy. And the way that I understand this is it's really just an inability to feel others' feelings or really take them even into consideration. And one of the quotes that I love from my favorite book, Think and Grow Rich, I'll leave a link for that in the description down below, is that when he talks about Henry Ford and how Henry Ford, dropped out of school before he even got to middle school. And then there was one time that this newspaper was making fun of him because they were saying he was stupid, right? So he decided to sue this newspaper company, and they had people come up and quiz him on a whole bunch of random crap that, didn't even make any sense. And then finally he reached his breaking point, and he stood up and he said, I'll ask you, he said something along the lines of, at my command, at my disposal, whenever I choose, I have a row of push buttons on my desk, and anytime when I click one of these, I can summon an expert in the area of expertise that I need in order to build my business. And he said, and the purpose of that story is to explain that a man of education is not necessarily a man who had a lot of schooling, but a man who is capable of achieving and changing his life in the direction that he wants to without violating the rights of others. I'm getting pretty close to the quote there in the book, but I didn't say it exactly. Also, that can apply for women who are determined to accomplish their goals and their objectives in life. A man is just the direct translation of the book. Anyway, we keep going forward from that psychopathy. When it comes to this emotion, what we're really trying to express here is this ability to go after what you want without letting the thoughts and the judgments of other people hold you back in life. And if Henry Ford let everybody say that because he didn't go to school and he was dumb, and let all of that negative energy that people poured on him affect him, and he kept feeling those feelings, he would have never achieved the things that he did in life. And it is this willingness, or maybe even unwillingness, to feel the feelings of others at strategic times, that the masculine is capable of driving forward regardless of what the world around them is saying. There's one of my favorite quotes, is that if you want to achieve success in the things that you want in life, you have to be willing to be seen as the bad guy. What as that is going to say really is that people are going to judge no matter what you do, no matter what it is. And somebody's going to say you're a bad person for this, your priorities are screwed up, this and that. And it's that willingness to really not even take that kind of stuff into consideration and let it stop you from chasing your own heart and goals that makes the masculine even more attractive to the feminine energy. Because if the masculine is going to be a good clam to the beautiful pearl that's inside of it, he can't, let's say, everything going on outside of the clam, the whole ocean is saying, open up, we want to get inside the clam, then the pearl is at risk, and the little baby pearls inside of the clam are at risk. So it's up to the masculine to not take that stuff into consideration, but rather, if he loves his mission and his purpose and the pearls that he's taking care of, or the pearl that he's taking care of, to take care of that fully regardless of everything else that is going on around in the world. And after taking a lot of time to think about this stuff, again, like I said, I don't really like using myself as an example of like any of the stuff, because I don't know, sometimes it makes me feel funny talking about it. But one example that I can think of is, okay, when my ex-girlfriend said that, my dreams of being a YouTuber were embarrassing, I had to, even though that stung for a little bit, there was a certain amount of energy inside of me that said, okay, screw that, I'm going to do it regardless. There was another video, the one I just did, I wanted to visualize, all these like cool mansions and stuff, which cracks me up. And then, but it was that willingness to go and look at them regardless. I can't afford these houses, and maybe I look like an idiot going out and like doing stuff, but I don't care, because like my heart was pushing me in that direction. And so, I know I didn't have any mean intents in that or whatsoever. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, when it comes down to the psychopathy trait, the dark expression of that is an unwillingness, or maybe even an inability to feel other people's feelings and not take them into consideration and not care about them. Whereas the positive light expression of it is to truly take the man's own needs as a part of himself and meet those needs directly, and doing so in a way that does not violate the needs of other people. And when you are capable of doing this, the masculine is going to be a really good clam for the pearl, leading, to more attraction and whatnot. And that is why it can happen where a man expresses all three of these traits in the dark side and in a not positive way, but women would prefer, in a way, these type of traits than the nice guy, because the nice guy is going to be the shitty clam that's not going to do its job. And so it's almost like women see it's like there's a higher potential of being safe in the clam that's like the dark clam than the nice clam that doesn't even do anything. And when you're really, I guess, part of what I'm trying to say is, I know, and I can tell from the stats that so many women listen to this channel, it's above 60%. I think it's more like 70%. That there are clams out there that express all these traits in a positive light, and it's possible to find them. And I just think it's interesting how these traits expressed in the wrong way, that while they can still be seen as attractive, what you really want to do to move forward in life, and I guess this is just advice for women, then maybe, is to be able to filter out men to see if they're portraying these traits from a positive intent or a negative intent. And I guess if you're a man and you're still listening to this, you know, you can try to be the positive clam, the positive example of these traits, because also you're going to be happier from that as well in your life. I think that does it for this video. Thank you guys so much. Thank you again, everybody, that's been donating and signing up for the Patreon. Really, the goal is to not drive Uber anymore at this point and to be able to do this channel full time for you guys, because I love you guys so much. So if you want to join the Patreon, link for that is in the description down below. Hit subscribe. See you on the next one.